Well, good evening, everybody. It's actually morning here on the East Coast. Wherever you're watching today, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, everything. It is time for Syracuse basketball postgame. My name is Brent Axe. We are here presented by our friends at Krause Health. We're flying solo tonight. My colleague Mike Curtis has the night off, so I'm here with you. And we are here after Syracuse basketball. What a performance over San Diego State. Syracuse advances to a Sunday matchup with the winner of West Virginia Morehead State as we speak here, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. We do not know the winner of that game yet, but Syracuse has moved on with a 78-62 victory over San Diego State. And it was the Buddy Boeheim show, folks. Consecutive games over 30 points. He scores 30 points in this game. Remember, he had 31 against Virginia when Syracuse was eliminated from the ACC tournament. Just unconscious shooting the basketball. Buddy hits one shot in particular. I'm sure you all saw it. And if you haven't, go back and watch it, where the shot clock is winding down. He's at the logo, right at the end of the midcourt logo, and just chucks it up and looks like Steph Curry and drains it. Buddy Boeheim just absolutely unconscious. San Diego State was completely flummoxed by Syracuse's 2-3 zone defense. It's amazing that when you get to March and you get to the NCAA tournament and you get teams that had not seen the zone defense all year. San Diego State had not seen any zone short of a 3-2 zone that Air Force had played on them earlier in the season, but had seen no zone defense throughout the year. And, we're pretty confident in their approach against it. In the comments they made during the week, some things we heard from practice, and some players are pretty confident about their approach to it. But it's one thing to see it on film. It's quite another to see it face-to-face on that court. Historic Hinkle Fieldhouse was the setting for tonight. What a place to play an NCAA tournament basketball game. And Syracuse moves on to the second round to face either West Virginia or Morehead State on Sunday. Great to have you here tonight. Again, thanks to our friends at Krause Health. I'll respond to your very happy comments, I'm sure, here shortly. But let's just go through some of the numbers from this one. Buddy Boeheim was the story. 30 points for Syracuse, 11 for 15 shooting the ball, 7 of 10 from three-point range. And look, this is Buddy Boeheim taking that next step as a player, because these are not just spot open shots on the wing or in one particular place where he's comfortable shooting the ball. This is Buddy Boeheim, catch and shoot with a defender in his face, getting rid of the ball a lot quicker. We have seen a real step forward in his game, an evolution in his game in just the last few weeks. He has been one of the hottest players in the country the last few weeks, certainly put on one of the better performances of the NCAA tournament individually so far. And as far as Syracuse goes, Buddy is going to carry them at this point. There is nothing, it seems, anybody can do to stop him. Virginia couldn't stop him. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. San Diego State came into this game with a pretty good defensive reputation and a team that kind of prides itself on its defense. This game had an ugly start. Both teams were missing a bunch of shots to start off with. San Diego State did cut off Buddy for the early part of the game, but San Diego State just broke down. Their confidence waned. They went a good 10 minutes and 30 seconds spanning the first half and the second half without scoring. They tonight finish, let's see here, from three-point range, 11 of 40. They made a bunch at the end, a bunch of garbage time threes, but for the most part, pretty terrible from three-point range, 27% for the Aztecs, whereas Syracuse, led by Buddy Boeheim, that's a new Syracuse record, 15 three-pointers in an NCAA tournament game. They were 15 of 27. That's 55%. Syracuse shot 55% overall in this game. And by the way, Buddy Boeheim is now the fifth leading three-point shooter in Syracuse history. He passed Eric Devendorf, a guy he's done a lot of work with in the offseason. Devo working with Buddy on his shot, on his game, in the Boeheim family gym. Eric Devendorf was there tonight in Indianapolis to see Buddy Boeheim pass him on the all-time three-point list. And Preston Shumpert is next up in his sights. It's going to take him a little bit to get there. Buddy is now, I believe, at 213, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that range. And Shump is at 249. So he'll have to work on that. Who knows? The way he's shooting, he could get it here in this tournament. But a little bit of a gap there, but still, Buddy's the story. Joe Girard with a solid game for Syracuse. 12 points for him, 6 rebounds, shot 3 for 10 overall. All 3 of those shots coming from behind the arc. 7 assists on the day for Gerard as well. Marek Dolzaj finishes with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists on the day. I'll tell you what, Kadari Richmond, great off the bench. That knee looks fine. That knee really hampered him down the stretch, but looked great tonight. It's officially a knee tendonitis, but boy, he had a soaring block, which I hope they clip for one shining moment, no matter how far Syracuse goes in this tournament. He was great off the bench. Jesse Edwards was terrific off the bench. 2 points. Now, the numbers don't really grab you. 2 points, 5 rebounds, one of the leading rebounders on the team, block shot. But, man, San Diego State just could not score when Jesse Edwards was on the floor. I'd be surprised if they had, in real time before this thing really pulled away and Syracuse, gained a big lead here before San Diego State scored some points at the end. I don't even know what San Diego State scored when Jesse Edwards was on the floor, but it wasn't much. He vacuumed up rebounds. As we mentioned, only 5. It seemed like he had a bunch more than that, but he attacked the boards. He played with real confidence in the paint defensively, made a huge difference for Syracuse, as did Robert Braswell. 9 points for Braswell, a couple of threes for him. So you have 3 solid contributors off the bench. Syracuse going 8 deep on its bench at this point. Quincy Guerrier, not the best game. 3 points, 4 rebounds, did come alive in the second half a little bit, was shaken up. I think his knee is bothering him. Still, Jim Boeheim was noting that at the postgame press conference that, Quincy's kind of fighting through that at this point. Alan Griffin didn't even score for Syracuse. Just grabbed a rebound, ineffective in this one. But with the way Buddy Boeheim is shooting the ball, boy, if Alan Griffin gets going and Buddy stays on this streak, Syracuse is going to be really, really tough to stop, especially if they keep facing teams that get flummoxed by this zone defense. The last 2 teams that took Syracuse out of the tournament, when they made deep runs, were ACC teams. Now, Baylor beat Syracuse in the 2019 NCAA tournament in the first round because they hit 16 3-pointers. And it's not like San Diego State didn't have their opportunities to hit threes in this game. They had a lot of open shots that just weren't falling. And after that, Syracuse took over this one. So survive in advance, but Syracuse didn't really have to sweat this one out. They just went out there and put a whooping on San Diego State, a team that's been pretty good in their league. I was impressed with San Diego State. I'll be honest with you. I picked San Diego State to win this game. I was dead wrong about that. I mentioned they had the opportunity, certainly, to at least make this a closer game with all those open threes, but they were seeing ghosts out there. They were completely flummoxed by the zone defense. Buddy was hot. You got a good compliment from Joe and those players off the bench. Just a good all-around performance that you need in the NCAA tournament. So the Orange will be moving on here. So as we speak live, we'll keep an eye on the score here because West Virginia is having a tougher time in their game than Syracuse did tonight. They have a 59-51 lead as we speak over Morehead State. You guys can keep me updated on that in the comments as we go here. And I'm not sure if we'll know the winner of that game by the time we're done here on postgame, but we'll know soon enough who Syracuse's opponent will be. But West Virginia having a tough time with the 14 seed, Morehead State. We wonder how that will apply to Sunday's game if West Virginia does get out of that one. And if Syracuse and the matchup there, Bob Huggins, a great coach. He's seen the zone a time or two in his day, but boy, if San Diego State wasn't ready for it on a week's notice, quick turnaround for West Virginia to have to play that zone, not easy to do at all. All right, let's see what you guys and gals are saying in the chat tonight. Boy, I appreciate everybody coming in tonight because it's past midnight here on the East Coast, but the beauty of doing this show is, you're all over the place, right? Some of you, it's 9 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock. It's a reasonable hour out there. That's why we love doing this show because all hours are welcome, even late into the night here on the East Coast. You guys are up. You're fired up after that game. So we're glad to be here for you and appreciate all your comments in there. A lot of Buddy Boeheim comments, Buddy Buckets, Buddy on fire. Kelly with the hashtag, just loving March Madness. A lot of Buddy Buckets comments. And that was it. I mean, he's just unconscious. The way he's shooting the ball, catch and shoot with a defender in his face, that shot from the logo I mentioned. And what I am encouraged to see there from Buddy's game is, there were certain spots he was pretty comfortable. On the wing, top of the key, maybe in the corners, but he can hit from anywhere now. You can just see all the hours he's putting into his game rounding into form. He's simply one of the best shooters in the country right now. There's just no other way to put it. The consistency's been there the last 7 games. His numbers have been just off the charts. I'll pull them up while we're talking about him here. This is only going to add to that, the performance that he had tonight. So looking at Buddy's numbers coming into this game tonight, in his last 7 games, he had averaged 23 points, 50% of his field goal attempts, and knocks down 46% of his three-pointers. That's coming into tonight's game. And then in this game tonight, we mentioned it a moment ago, but bears repeating, 11 of 15, 7 of 10 from three-point range, 30 points on the night for Buddy Boeheim. Just what do you do about that? And San Diego State is a team that really prides itself on defense, as we said, and it didn't matter. West Virginia is a team that will play if that ends up being Syracuse's opponent. Like we said, they're having a tough time with Morehead State right now. But if it is West Virginia, Huggins plays a pressure defense, tough man-to-man, more physical, certainly than San Diego State is. So, you can try everything in the book right now. Buddy Boeheim is solving that puzzle no matter what you throw at him defensively at this point. I see Chris saying play Jesse more. Look, I think Jesse has been just terrific. Just terrific. The presence that he has, the confidence that's growing in his game, rebounding, he's attacking the boards. Jim kind of sticks with the same lineup. Jesse was out for a while at the beginning of the second half there, but you've got a good balance and a good mix off the bench between Kadari Richmond, Jesse Edwards. Robert Braswell has been just a confident player that, has figured out what his role is. Braswell knows he's in there and he knows the zone rotations as well as anybody on that defense. He knows he's in there to do that. He's in there to hit threes when they're open because teams still aren't keying on him when he's out there as a valid three-point shooter. You can't leave him open or he's going to bury you hitting that shot. And he's just a lot more confident. And remember, Robert Braswell really struggled in his Syracuse career. He had a lot of I don't even know what you would label it medically. He just had a lot of pain in his legs that he had to overcome, an injury that he had to fight through. And we know, as mentioned, Kadari's got the knee thing. Quincy's got the knee thing. Marek Dolzhai's fighting through it still. He's got a broken tip of his finger on his left hand. So not easy to play through there, catching the ball, proper shooting form, rebounding. And you're going to feel that every time you go up and do it. But no matter what these guys are fighting through, and Braswell for a long time had to overcome that, thought about transferring at one point, but everything seems to be coming together off the bench. Rod asks here in the comments, Buddy, any shot in the NBA? If he keeps going on this pace, he's going to have a shot. He's going to get a hard look there's a lot of NBA scouts that are at these games. They're seeing the form, 6'6". He's got to get better defensively still. I think that's still a struggle for Buddies at times. He's been a lot better at the top of the zone as of late. Don't get me wrong. But, could Buddy be a G League prospect, somebody that could, just be that designated shooter? Three-point shooting is so valued at the professional game right now. And if his shot keeps developing and his game keeps developing at this rate, he's getting a lot better taking the ball in the paint, getting the ball off quick, dribble, shoot. It's just, the best way I could put it is it's crisp. It's just a crisp shot. The fundamentals of his shot are sharp. They're on point. He's only getting better. So he's definitely got a shot. I think Dick Vitale was actually saying that, speaking of which, on Twitter tonight. So he's got another year to develop that. And how about this? Kadari Richmond. Chris, I see you make this comment as I note it. He had 2 3-pointers in this game. Look out. If Kadari Richmond, when his three-point shot, when his shot overall develops and it looks like it's coming together here, now give him an entire offseason to work on it, probably with Buddy. Buddy could teach him how to shoot, right? Think of that backcourt next year. 6'6" Kadari Richmond, who's got, a 6'10" wingspan, 6'6" Buddy Boeheim, who's shooting the lights out and is only going to be a better shooter next year. And Joe Girard is a compliment who can shoot. Credit to Girard with 7 assists, vacuumed up a lot of missed shots tonight on the rebounds. That's a pretty darn good backcourt for Syracuse right now, with Kadari getting a lot better and Buddy really rounding into form at this point. Blake makes the point here in the comments just about that bench play. Mary Ellen says, great win. Buddy led the way. Good team effort. Edwards contributing. I hope Syracuse can keep it going. And boy, look, Syracuse has done this before, right? They get in 2018 as an 11 seed in the Midwest, They had to play in the play-in game that year and just rolled. I think it was actually today's the anniversary of when Syracuse beat Michigan State to clinch a Sweet 16 bid in 2018. I mean, you let Syracuse get on a roll like this. This is such a Syracuse thing to do, right? They barely made the tournament 2 weeks before the regular season ends. They didn't look like a tournament team. I said that on this show. I'm always going to be honest with you guys. And I looked at a team, I said, they don't look like a tournament team to me. And all they did was turn into a tournament team because Buddy got hot, the defense got better, and those are the two things they're riding right now. And the fact that they're doing it without Alan Griffin right now is really surprising to me because I thought they needed him as a scorer, as a dynamic player, and he could still come around and help the effort here. But we mentioned those bench players and, some contributions coming from elsewhere to make up for Alan Griffin struggling. And I hope he comes around. I really do, because I think if he does, it'd be fun to watch. This could be a really, really dangerous team at this point. Let's see. A lot of you asking about West Virginia. And, just to update that as we're talking about it here, they're starting to pull away from Morehead State. It's 67-55. There's about 6 minutes to go in that game. West Virginia plays a tough man-to-man defense. Bob Huggins, great coach, who certainly remembers his time going up against Boeheim and Syracuse. They were a great team in the Big 12 this year, a 3 seed. They're a tough physical team that I think is going to challenge Syracuse a little bit more. They're certainly going to challenge Buddy a little bit more. They're going to try and wear down Syracuse a little bit, which, again, San Diego State came in with that rotation too. But, that's West Virginia. West Virginia can score too. It's not like they're always going to be, down in the 50s and 60s here. That's kind of how it went against Morehead State tonight. But just think of a tough physical defensive team that's going to come at Syracuse and try and slow them down and make Buddy earn those shots throughout that game, as it's looking like it's going to be West Virginia. But, March Madness, we'll let it play out here before we put the rubber stamp on that one. Let's see, just a few more of your comments here. Josh saying that West Virginia is going to be a tough one for Syracuse. Thanks for the score update there. Michael saying that West Virginia committing a lot, or that Morehead is committing a lot of unforced errors. As we mentioned, West Virginia can do that to you as a defensive team. Cole says, great win for the Cuse. Great look going forward in the tournament. Essentially a 20-point win tonight. Excited for the rest of the tournament and the year. Thomas saying, I want to watch all the people that have hated on Buddy eat crow. Yeah, Buddy took some heat. He took a lot of heat from a lot of the fan base throughout the year. Some of it was warranted, by the way. And with Buddy, it was all or nothing. If he wasn't shooting well, you were looking for what else he does out there, right? He was a liability at times defensively, hit or miss on the offensive end, and never came out of the game, right? If he wasn't hitting his shots. Now, let's keep in mind that Buddy went through a COVID pause at the beginning of the season where he came in contact with somebody who had COVID-19 and had to sit out. So when you keep a shooter out of a game, like you can sit in the gym and fire up as many shots as you want. You got to be out there with live defense, reacting, quick shots, coming off screens, getting that shot off quickly. So there was one pause there. The second pause the entire team went through when Buddy actually got COVID-19. Joe Girard got COVID-19. A couple other players got it. And Joe and Buddy were pretty honest about, they didn't want it to be an excuse, but they said, it affected how we played. It affected their wind. It affected their rhythm. It affected everything. And it just took a while to get back into that. Meanwhile, you're in the grind of the ACC, trying to win some games, trying to impress the committee, trying to get those quad one games. And there were times when Buddy really just he had bad games, had bad shooting games. But once you got into form, once you got healthy, and man, that's why they say shoot or shoot. When shooters get in that rhythm, and it's fun to follow some people on social media, former college basketball players and shooters, even former Syracuse players. They just kind of know, man, when you're in that zone and you're feeling it as a shooter, nothing can stop you. And for Buddy to do that at the absolute right time of the year, that's been the incredible thing about this team overall, is a lot of things that needed to click did at the exact right time. It kind of started with that Miami game, rolled from there. Syracuse went into a number of games down the stretch they had to win, that they did, beat North Carolina, which was huge. Again, they lost to Georgia Tech late in February, and you say, you're out of time, right? But the way the selection committee worked this year, the way the tournament worked this year, the quad system and everything, Syracuse was at least still in the conversation. It left itself a window to get in. And all they did was take full advantage of it by beating North Carolina by 2, beat Clemson, a good team. Clemson lost today, so they're out. Rutgers beat them. First NCAA tournament victory for Rutgers. So, by the way, Syracuse has to carry the banner for the ACC. Awful day for the ACC. Clemson, Virginia Tech, North Carolina all go down today. I'm missing one or two there, I believe. Syracuse, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they were the only ACC team that won a game today. So the committee actually kind of disrespected the ACC in seeding and, some of the placement of these teams. You can see why. They didn't believe in the league. They had an awful, awful day. North Carolina, that's the first time Roy Williams ever lost in the first round of the tournament, I think in 29 tries. Virginia Tech lost, as we mentioned, to Florida. And it's not a good day for the league. So Syracuse kind of having to carry that ACC banner going forward here at this point. Trendy pick. Winthrop goes down by 10 to Villanova. I had a lot of things wrong on my bracket today. I actually did pick Villanova, right? I picked Oregon State, a big win for me today, but had a lot wrong. I had Ohio State in the national championship game. Tear up that bracket, right? Oral Roberts, what a great game. Great effort from them. Love to see the upsets, but would have preferred it didn't knock out one of my championship game opponents. And I have Gonzaga winning it all, as I'm sure most of you do as well, on day one. So, yeah, not good there. Some of the trendy picks coming through, but some certainly not coming through at this point. Thank you, Jamie. Georgia Tech was the other team I was thinking of. And boy, Georgia Tech, what a tough go for them. They lose Moses Wright to COVID-19. I think he would have made a huge difference for them. They would have faced Illinois in the next round. That would have been a buzzsaw to go through. But Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean, triumph over Georgia Tech today and move on. What a great story that is at this point. But man, I was bummed to see what happened to Georgia Tech. After they earned their way into the tournament. Josh Pastner, fun team. Jose Alvarado, love watching Georgia Tech play. They're a fun team, but the ACC, not a good day. Not a good day at all. So we'll see if Syracuse can carry the banner forward here. Brian noting here, our Richmond loss, not so bad after Lehigh and Oral Roberts, at least appearance-wise on the record book. Only now 9 times has a 15 seed beat a 2. And yep, unfortunately, Syracuse is on that list. And look, this is Jim Boeheim's 35th NCAA tournament appearance as a head coach. It's the 6th different decade that Jim Boeheim has coached in the tournament. You name it, he's done it. They've pulled upsets. They've been upset. They've hit buzzer beaters. They've lost on buzzer beaters. They've had low seeds make Final Four runs. They've had high seeds fall. Great teams that didn't make the tournament. I think of that 1989 team that lost to Illinois in the Elite Eight. There was a ton of NBA players in that game. That should have been a Final Four team. They just ran into a great team in the Elite Eight. They've been through it all, man. You name it. Today's actually yesterday, technically, because we're now into Saturday, but the anniversary of the Arkansas game. Remember 1995, Lawrence Moten calls a timeout Syracuse doesn't have. That's only 2 years removed from Chris Webber doing the same thing in the national championship game. They lose in overtime to Arkansas. I mean, you name it. They've done it in this tournament. And today, just a flat-out dominant performance. Syracuse, by the way, has only lost 6 times in the first round under Jim Boeheim. The last game before tonight in the tournament, Baylor being one of them. I see Vermont mentioned here by Brian in 2005. It's March Madness, man. That's what makes it great, right? Anthony with a great point here, how next year is going to be wild. I mean, think of Kadari Richmond as an improved player, Buddy Boeheim as an improved player, Braswell, Jesse, all these guys taking steps forward. Jesse's got to gain some weight in the offseason. I think he's going to work on that. You bring in Benny Williams, who's a 5-star recruit, great forward that is going to play, no doubt in my mind. I'm wondering about the transfer market, which is going to be wild, right? It's going to be the craziest transfer market we've ever seen in college basketball. Jim Boeheim was saying at the end of the year how crazy it could be. So, there's always a player or two that comes and goes. I don't think Syracuse is going to lose anybody to the draft. I think Quincy Guerrier will think about it. I don't think he's going to get picked at this point, but, wouldn't hurt to go through the process and see what the scouts say. But you bring Guerrier back. I mean, no matter how far this team goes, and they're not done, right? next year's team is going to be wild, and we'll see what additions they make in the transfer market. I see Tawan asking about Woody Newton. Woody Newton actually played in this game tonight and hit a three-pointer. God love him. I haven't seen him for weeks, and he comes out in the NCAA tournament and makes one. I believe he's probably going to transfer. That's just, a guess on my part. Don't really have any inside information on that or anything, but informed speculation, I guess you'd say, that he could transfer out. Maybe another opportunity out there. If he wants to come back, great. That's another weapon that Syracuse has. But hey, next year is next year. This team is still in it now, as West Virginia is up 74-61 with 3 minutes to go. So yeah, it looks like the Mountaineers dial it up again. Old Big East matchup between Syracuse and West Virginia, who is now up 74-61 over Morehead State. So they're going to avoid the big upset. We did see a huge upset today. A 15 seed beat a 2. We didn't see Colgate knock off Arkansas, although Colgate was up 14 points in that game. Good run by Colgate. Jordan Burns, great player, great team. 2 tournament appearances in the last 3 years. What a program they're building down there. Out of the Patriot League, I really thought they were going to win that game today. I really did. I picked Colgate to win. They're up 14 points. I'm like, okay, here we go. But Arkansas ended up winning that one 85-68. Today, Adam, I don't know Jim Boeheim's record against the Huggy Bear off the top of my head. That's something that we'll certainly I'll look up. I'll put that in my recap because when we're done here with the show here shortly, I'm going to go write my recap for the morning. So please read that now this morning if you're here on the East Coast as we do that. I'll look that up, but offhand, not sure what Boeheim's record is against Huggins off the top of my head. Yes, a lot of you pick Colgate. I can see that. Yeah, that's Jamie says, where would I rank this performance from Buddy among the best recent NCAA tournament games? Right at the top of the list, right? It was just recently the anniversary where Jerry McNamara had 43 points against BYU. That game was in Denver. I was at that game. I was sitting courtside. You want to talk about a guy who, I don't know, looked like Buddy Boeheim tonight, just unconscious, absolutely unconscious. It's hard to think somebody played better than Buddy did tonight, but Jerry's 43 points, certainly right up there, but not only Syracuse-wise, but anybody in the tournament, certainly so far and in recent years. Tyus Battle's run in 2018 was incredible. It's Tyler Lydon, Malachi Richardson in 2016, how great they were. And that's it. When Syracuse makes these runs in these tournaments, that's a great point that you made there, Jamie. It's usually, it's a team effort in one way or the other, but it's somebody who steps up. It's that one guy. I mean, obviously Carmelo Anthony was amazing in 2003, but you needed 6 3-pointers from Jerry against Kansas in the title game. Jeremy McNeil, remember him, had to rescue Syracuse. They're down by 17 points to Oklahoma State. So it's a combination of that bench play, the balance that's there, but there's somebody that's got to take command. And we've talked about it here on the postgame show. Syracuse, for a while, we're like, who's going to be that guy? And I thought Alan Griffin, frankly, was going to kind of turn into that player, but Buddy Boeheim has said, nope, right here, it's me. This is my team. Get on my back and go. Marek's such a glue guy and a great balance from everybody else. And now they got another opportunity Sunday. What, as we end the show here, looks like is going to be West Virginia, the Huggy Bear, the tough physical defense. It's a good team that Syracuse is facing, a scrappy, tough physical defensive team. And it should be a heck of a matchup with the Sweet 16 on the line. So thanks for hanging tonight. Really appreciate it, especially those of you staying up really late here into now Saturday morning, wherever you're watching. So I'm not sure what time the game's going to be Sunday, but we'll be right here, right after the game, doing what we're doing here live. If you do miss the post-game show, we put it up on our Syracuse Orange Sports YouTube page. I embedded in my recap on syracuse.com. We'll fire it off on social media as well. Follow the SYR basketball account on Twitter. We'll send the video out there as well, just in case you missed the show here live. But thanks for being here live. Thanks to our friends at Krause Health. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see what the Orange do on Sunday in round 2 of the NCAA tournament. The madness continues for the Orange. Thanks, everybody.